Welcome back, guys. Automotive Inc. Today we are narrowing down the three hot new crossover SUVs that you can look at. The 25 Equinox. This will be a full review on that, and then we will kind of show you all three put together. So as you guys know, the Chevy Equinox did come out with a new version for 2025, total redesign. Interesting though, the underpinnings are the same old engine, the same old chassis, but the Active is the trim that we're looking at today. They do make an RS, which is like a Sport E looking one, and then they of course have the LT. So love what they did with the rear end right here, the tail lights, all the black badging. Now this one does have some more aggressive looking tires. General Grabber is what they went with. I like General tires, but the other Equinox we drove the other day was a little bit loud, but good looking wheels here. Again, the Active is going to come in a maple sugar interior, and it does get a distinct grille right here with those boxes down below the bow tie versus the RS right there. You can see the RS has a little bit different look. No chrome, but no boxes, and a distinct grille, so that's nice. As we cruise down this, guys, you do get a compact spare. Let's open this up. Power lift gate on this model. Lots of hard plastics back here, so you want to protect that somehow, but you do get a storage compartment, which is really decent sized, so that's welcome. And then a actual temporary spare down below. It is just a temporary, nothing major there. Again, a lot of hard plastics here, which, you know, Chevy can be notorious for having easily scratchable interiors, but really the interior is where they made the big difference in this one. So as we climb in here, guys, it is this micro suede material. Soft touch right here on the tan, hard plastic there. Hard plastics on the rest of the door. You do get some USB-C charging points down there. A very small black area, you can see them. Do get some vents, which is nice. And heated second row. Map pockets on both. Black headliner and a panoramic roof. But these seats really are nice looking. And really nice to touch and feel. Very comfortable here. As we pan over here, again, there's just a better shot with the light directly on it. And then of course the front seat, they really redid it. All right, so standard across the board, guys, you get this massive screen in here, Google-based system. You do get that large display over there, and I'm gonna have her toggle through the way you can change the screen. So you can actually have Google Maps. In that lower left, you can see the speedometer, which is pretty cool, your sign recognition and your range. And then you can tailor this screen to have whatever you want in the middle, left the speedo and tach again, and on the right. Now if we go back to the home screen, so there's like another, sorry, there must be more than one, must than three. So there's four. Go ahead and go again. And this is like your standard view, so you can kind of tailor those screens. Tack on the outside there, speedo in the middle. So that's pretty cool. Really nice, beefy, soft touch steering wheel. It's heated. It's really thick. This is probably the thickest steering wheel that we've seen out there. Hard buttons for your AC and everything, so that's nice. A little bit shiny gloss black, but hopefully it's high wear. Very nice tactile feel here. And then this screen does all kinds of stuff. We're not really going to jump into that. GM is going away from HomeLink, but you do get the little flippy-do camera mirror here, and then you do get cloth appointments here. And then these vents are actually super sharp. They just feel nice. They look cool, and I always like round vents like in a semi, because you can get just the right perfect angle. So that's cool. Soft touch here, soft here, softer here, soft there. Little door pockets. They'll hold a small water bottle, but not one of your big old Stanleys. Good storage here. Wireless charging, fits a large phone in an OtterBox. Decent little cubby there for your chapstick. An upper cubby, and yeah, that'll fit way down there. So it is really deep. Don't see any charge points in there, but you do have a USB, which most manufacturers are getting rid of, and a C, so that's good. Dual zone climate control, and then you have your drive modes here, which if you flip around and mess with them, they'll come up here. So you have off-road, snow and ice. Really not very many stuff that I would mess with anyway, because there is a hard button for your all-wheel drive, but the car is predominantly a front-wheel drive car. And then if you go into the system here, again, this is not going to be a huge one, but it is Google based, so you can change your view to satellite if you want, or 3D. Very nice there. It does have a hard volume knob there, but everything's pretty much new here, easy at the touch. We'll get her talking here in just a second. As you come up, again, black sunroof. This eyeglass holder is big enough for a pair of medium-sized Oakleys. And then as you come over here, you do have LED visors. So really nice design here. And overall look, if you want the RS, you get the black and red interior versus this. This is the only color maple brown sugar that you get in the Active. This is the off-road-esque looking one. Again, better meat hooks are better for all weather, but we'll see if these ones are noisy again. Last time they went with us, we didn't get a lot of time to not only record, but we just didn't really get a lot to it. And at one point during this video, I'm gonna zap through the other two cars we're looking at, which will be the 25 Rock Creek Rogue. And if you guys want really detailed reviews of those, I'll link them down below. We did the Dodge Hornet EV hybrid, we did the Rogue, and then we also did the new Subaru Forester. So here's a little shot of the cameras and how they basically work. Pretty good turning radius. It is tight in here.
Oh, that was good. So
you have to go into the system, actually hit a hard button for that. So once you're done in here, you would hit this X. Keeping in mind, if you guys are test driving one of these, this is how you turn your headlights on and your fog lamps. There's no more hard button on the other side, so just keep that in mind.
He did say that when we approach something like going into the garage, your camera does automatically turn on.
Well, that'll be good to be able to have that ability, because right now the Hyundai does that, the Rogue does that, the Subaru, we don't know, because they didn't really let us play with it. They always say we had to push an extra button. Again, if 360 is an important feature to you in this segment, you really got to hunt down and find out the right package as to what is going to have a 360 camera. For me, I don't care if I have it. I have it in my Super Duty. It's fine. I use my mirrors. I use my just looking around and stuff like that. So again, like I said the other day, guys, and just recently in this video, this is the same powertrain that I had last year. Obviously, they added an 8-speed transmission to the Active trim level, and so that's nice. They do still have a CVT in the front-wheel drive version, and you can decide if that's what's for you here in Colorado, or anytime. I recommend you get an all-wheel drive vehicle. So let's just talk about specs real quick. So the Chevy right now is a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder, pumps out 175 horsepower at 203 pounds of torque, 26 highway, 26 city, 28 highway. So we'll talk about how this compares to the other ones, but not the most powerful necessarily, but it is a little turbocharged engine. So
I'd say so far it's got pretty decent power. I just got on it. I am in 2-wheel drive, so I'm not in the all-wheel drive. There's no snow on the road, so I wouldn't really need it. They do say you get better gas mileage if you're in the 2-wheel drive versus driving in that, so that's kind of a cool feature, I think. So far, it drives pretty nice. No complaints so far. The steering wheel is one of the thickest that I think I've ever driven, ever. So that part's just a little odd, but it's heated, so I really can't complain.
And this one actually has a full 360 heated steering wheel. Believe it or not, the Subaru in their top trim is still short, about 12 inches on the top of the steering wheel, unheated. So take that for what it is. Almost every other manufacturer does a full 360 heated steering wheel. Not sure what the meaning was to that. There's no explanation.
No, it is definitely interesting that wasn't on the Subaru Forester. This one does. It's just a very thick steering wheel. I'm getting used to the, I guess, what do you call this? The drive stick, where you put it. Very interesting way. I'm not used to it, but I did have a couple cars where you had to pull it in and then move it down to a different gear. This one is not exactly like that, but you could pretty much get in the same habit of doing that, because I just went from, my Tucson has little buttons to push, no gear shift or anything like that. So you can always get used to something if it's something you love. The seat comfort so far. These are cooled and heated, and usually when you get cooled seats, it does take away some of your comfort, and I don't find that in here at all.
Yeah, and good legroom. So usually if you're a taller person, one of these smaller SUVs, how they shape the center console stack can kind of invade in your legroom and stuff. This does really pretty good in this trim, like keeping it nice and wide open. And there is plenty of room in the back seat for me at 6'2". What do you think of visibility out here? Because a couple of the cars we looked at, the C-pillars, D-pillars were a little shorter. They didn't have that little baby window right there by the back window.
So I will say the Subaru Forester has better visibility, and I think the Rogue has better visibility, but this one's not bad. The mirrors on the side are nice and large, and it works for me. I'm used to driving with something this size, so it's not like making me uncomfortable. I just think that the other two have definite better visibility. Yeah, so I mean, it's not bad, not at all, especially when you get this cool mirror that you can flip back and just see the entire behind you. So it's not exactly like the seats get in the way anymore. So if I flip, I can now view everything behind me. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. The rear view camera thing, a lot of manufacturers have an option of that. Basically, it deletes the headrest, and if we look up here and flip it on again, guys, basically it just eliminates the whole back end, gives you a nice view. Take that for what it's worth. If that bothers you, if that type of view can make you seasick, it is nice. You can just turn it off and have a regular mirror.
I do like that. It does make me a little bit seasick just because I get motion sickness, but it's nice to have as a resource. Like if you just needed to see what's behind you to make sure you're not, whatever, somebody's following you, need a license plate, I don't know. But then you can turn it back to normal mode, which I really like.
Yeah. Now one thing is for sure is this is one of the only compacts that's actually going to give you a power lumbar and a power seat on the passenger side. Most of them are offering some type of, memory seat, lumbar, and 6 to 8 to 10 way power seats on the driver's side. So usually the passenger gets kind of hosed. This one does have power lumbar, so that's nice. And again, at this price point, the way this one is with the camera rear view mirror, the safety extra tech, the panoramic roof, you get a price point right around $40,000, and I think that's comparable to the way the Subaru Touring was. To get the 360 camera, you're looking at a $42,000 price point. Same thing in the Rogue. You can get 360 camera at a lower trim package, depending on the screen you want and everything like that. And those usually start around $37,000. So, and like I said, we'll talk about specs of those in a later video. This is kind of a little piece of how we're deciding which one. But we really want to talk about power and how it's getting out of here. Cabin is very quiet.
Yeah, even with the big beefy tires, I don't really hear very much road noise.
Yeah, the one we drove last week, and maybe it was obviously road services can change how your tires make road noise, but really the trend has been to get a taller rim over the last couple of years, and like a 2019, and get a thinner sidewall, and that usually plays into worse ride quality and more road noise.
Yeah.
And these don't sound bad, but the one we drove the other day, I thought there was a little bit of road noise. So we're going to get up here on the interstate here real quick and drive around and really see if the little 1.5 four-banger turbo really does well with it. Because a lot of manufacturers, they can do more with less, meaning they can turbo a small engine, tweak a transmission, and get more zip out of it than, say, other versions. So
yeah, very true.
But you're thinking... visibility looks good.
Yeah, visibility looks good. The seat comfort's good. I like actually having buttons to press. I need all the maps and everything I would really want here. And even though I don't have a analog speedometer, this digital one is just fine. And I like that you can see the speed limit, which I am currently going a little bit over.
And like I said, this trim package has rain sensing wipers, power liftgate, power sunroof. Again, you can go with an Active and get it a couple grand cheaper, but you will sacrifice a couple of those creature comforts that you may want or may think about. You can add the panoramic sunroof a la carte, but if you want some of the safety stuff, that's really where you're going to have to bump up to get that type of package. But overall, we need to keep bringing my decibel reader in here so we can find out some cabins. Again, we did do a Subaru review on the 25. We did a lot of different vehicles. We'll link all those recent ones below so you can check them out. But we'd really like to be able to check cabin stuff. But so far, like I said, this one
seems very quiet inside. Very smooth driving. I don't really feel too much of a lag or anything like that.
Yeah, and we're about ready to get on the highway in just a second. All right, so we're gonna get on the highway. I'm gonna keep my yap shut because I'm usually the one that talks more about stuff. Let's get our impression and see if you guys can hear some road noise.
Holy moly.
In 800 feet, make a U-turn at
Let's turn that crap off.
Yep.
So I went in and programmed a route in there so you guys can kind of take a look at this Google-based system. But here we are, we're getting on the highway.
Definitely has more pep than my Tucson. I will say that. I got up to 40 miles an hour right now. I can't go much further because of the Jeep in front of me.
Yeah, I wanted her to actually dig into this thing and try and get some speed behind it, but can't really help the sun glare. It's a bright and shiny sunny day here in Colorado.
It is a very beautiful day.
So.
No, this Jeep does not want me to go fast.
Well, speed limit is 65, so figure out how to get around this guy so you can play with the speed, play with the power.
Right.
So this is what your Google-based system looks like. So you can see it shows all your exit just like a Google Maps.
That's cool. I love that.
So you have it up there in that right-hand corner. It automatically came up, and then you can zap the whole map onto that side if you really wanted to.
I can do it right now.
So,
actually, let's see.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's pretty cool that they did that. Take it for what it's worth. All these screens for me, I need analog gauges because I need depth as I'm looking at them when I drive so much. But it is pretty cool. You still have your speedo down there in the corner with speed recognition and all your stuff right there.
The steering's pretty responsive as far as like I'm not feeling a tug or anything like that. I'm not sure what other settings we might have on because it's still kind of in dealer mode.
Yeah, this is in demo mode. It's highly configurable. You can move some icons around on the center screen here.
Has some power though. I'm actually quite impressed. I wasn't on the first time I test drove it because I didn't really get on it. The guy was in the back and I was like freaking out. Didn't have a ton of gas, so I didn't exactly get on it here. But for the most part, I'm pretty impressed with how well this is doing.
Yeah, again, in the segment with this smaller displacement, it's a fairly heavy car for its size.
I can feel it.
Yeah, equipped with all the sunroof and stuff, you're still probably at best. EPA standards is always based on your driving habits and what the car can actually do. Again, they're saying 26 city, 28 highway, so not the best in the class.
No, I wouldn't say. I would say that would be one thing that they can definitely improve. I think Chevy, if they put in more, hybrid models, I think this would be one of the top ones that they could ever they would sell. If this was in a hybrid, I'd be sold today. The gas mileage is a little bit lower, especially like when the Rogue has pretty decent mileage and they have a turbo. And I will say the seats are about as equally as comfortable as the Rogue. So far I really like it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The Chevy did a really good job with this redesign. That's what even drew her to it, because back 2-3 years ago, most people look at the Equinox. It was a fine looking car and a lot of people liked it, but she's into boxy. Those older versions were really into the round look, not really any angles to it, just kind of like your classic looking compact run of the mill. It didn't really stand out, really didn't do anything crazy. And Chevy's always been fairly conservative in most of their designs, other than the new truck and Corvettes, obviously. But they usually kind of keep them all around the mill. And when they redid brought back the tracks and redesigned it, they all look kind of the same, but perfect, because you just need a different size car. You get the smaller one or the bigger one, the Traverse. They all look very similar now. It makes absolutely good sense. You don't have to have them all look completely different.
I like the cargo area in the back too. My Telluride used to have it where you can lift it up and you have some storage underneath, and then the spare tires underneath that. So I do really like that. The only other one that we've been looking at that has that is the Rogue.
Yeah, the Rogue has a couple different variations. One similar to this, a little bit of stuff underneath it, and then they have what's called a hide-in store in their upper trim ones. That's kind of cool, and we do have a review on the Platinum that we put out a few days ago. So hit a pothole. Again, thicker sidewalls, smaller rims absorb that better when it talks about rebound and stuff in the car. So
yeah, it didn't feel as much as like my Tucson, because I know I think I've got 20s in that, 20-inch rims, right? Thinner wall.
Yeah, they're 20s.
But yeah, I didn't feel that pothole as much as I feel it in a Tucson. I'm not saying I hit all the potholes. I'm not saying that.
She hits most potholes.
I do not.
I feel like she's aiming for them most times.
I pretty much, it's hard to not hit, by the way.
Yeah.
Colorado needs to fix their roads.
Yeah, Colorado's crappy roads. And one thing I will tell you is this is one of the very few consoles that actually protrudes forward enough for a shorter driver. Most of her cars, even in her Tucson, the armrest is a little bit behind her. Now, the way they slope that one, you know, you could put your arm on it and still be on it, but some cars, the Subaru, the armrest is actually further back and not very useful for a taller or a shorter driver.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me because I always got seat backs. So there's plenty of armrest. So they did well with a lot of nice features. Do really enjoy the steering wheel redesign. Interior's obviously phenomenal compared to
interior's amazing.
In comparison to of old. You know, they really did really well with this. I'm telling you, Chevy, take the seat design, the cushioning, the foam, and put it in your pickups, okay?
You'd sell more.
You would sell more because I like the seats, but they are very firm. So do take that with you and do that, because these seats are really comfortable. I think the Rogue has the most comfortable seats, but these are
a close second to me, I would think. I mean, can't go above that Ford Bronco. That was amazing.
Yeah. And Nissan uses zero gravity seat construction, so it does help. But these are definitely, these don't feel like a Chevy seat, and these feel just as nice in the RS. They feel just as nice in the LT. So no matter what trim you go with, it's very, very good. So we're going to get this back, guys, and we'll do a wrap up on this video. And again, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and the like button at the end of the video. But we will wrap this up and talk about it as we're on our way to check out the new Rogue.